Okay, does gutter protection help in fire situations? Yes. That's just the bottom line. Yes, yes, and more yes. You know, this is not just a hot topic because of literally what's been going on. It's going to continue. I'm going to back you up a little bit. California wrote a law, okay, in 2000 something or other. And in '09, I went down to actually UC Davis, worked with the fire marshal, tried to help create some kind of testing for gutter protection because it really matters. The number one thing as a homeowner is to clean your debris out of your gutter. If you look at fire safety to protect yourself, it's either one or two. It's either get the trees away from the house and the bushes and clean the gutters. They're one or the other, depending on if you look at Google or what you look at. So I did that. So I went down there and spent a lot of time on my dime and flew down and tried to help them out because we have, in my opinion, a far superior product than anything else on the market, not just for gutter protection as a whole, because we're based out of the Pacific Northwest, 200 foot for 80 inches of rain, yada, 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 like fir needles, pine needles, little stuff, okay? So that's where we built our product. It's made for this type of environment. So it translates great to the mountains and the foothills and et cetera, all the things around urban interface with the rural and the wildlands. So basically they came up with, in this building code, it's establishing a requirement of fire, smoke protection building includes chapters of gutters, and gutter guards must be installed to prevent embers from reaching and igniting, etc. So let's just break it down really quick. There's only a couple options out there. Unfortunately, if you go into the code and read this, they are so specific about even just valley flashing, the thickness of this, of that, the other. When it came to the actual gutter protection, they just dropped the ball. They just said any. They recommend, but they didn't do any testing. And it's unfortunate because it's like having a great idea. They say, hey, look, we need a homeless shelter. Of course people need help. But let's put it next to a grade school. Or, an airbag that we didn't test and now we're having issues with. Bottom line, there should be testing. There should be fire ratings, in my opinion. And I'm going to keep it super simple. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this one out. There's two measurable things. One is something that can hold debris on the actual line of the roofing material that is flammable and that could catch on fire. That is pretty much anything that sits flat, any kind of screen is going to do that. I mean, it just is. I mean, yes, you're going to have to maintenance most systems to a degree, but in the heat of the moment, that's probably not your hugest priority. And so bottom line, the things that can keep that away are better. So then you allude to, oh, great, well, there's a big helmet hood type of style. Well, and yeah, we can debate how well that works on the water intake and high flow and all that, but this is strictly fire. And the other element to the whole equation is non-flammable. So all these styles that are pushed out, gutters as a whole, are a baked on enamel, which is basically flammable. Enamel paint is flammable. Our product is powder coated, which is considered non-flammable. So even if you had embers land on it and you didn't have debris on it, there is a potential therein having an enamel in lieu of having a powder coat. So just those two simple fundamental things should put us leaps and bounds above everybody else. But the reality is, there a need for it? 100%. 100%. It's a tragedy. And so I hope that you take the time, do some research. Our product's available online, super easy, multiple installers all over the United States. We try to make it easy enough that anybody can purchase our products, not a hard find in any region. And so, the combination of what we came up with, being able to utilize the hardscape cap to take the water to flush, to help continue to flush. You get a dry season, you haven't had water forever. Can a little bit of debris build up here? Of course it can. But it's not up here. It's not on top. In our valleys, they're huge. We utilize the same patent influence. It has a shedding mechanism. The same thing. Yes, you have to periodically clean those areas off. But in the long run, leaf blower is a lot better than trying to, in the heat of the moment, get out a ladder and muck out your gutters and or have just a lot of this built up on top of it. I think when time matters, the least that you have to do, the better. And that's one of the things that I think a little bit of foresight will pay dividends in a crisis moment. So hopefully you don't need it for that region, but I know more and more across the United States, they are trying to utilize this. We've seen this in Southern Oregon. We've seen it in some other areas. They're starting to take this law and put it into effect. Again, without any kind of proper testing, without anything, they're just basically having a good idea, but a bad way to put it out there. I would almost argue that by allowing something that's a screen, a micro mesh, or something of that nature up here, you're contributing to building up more on your roof line than you would without it. And so the good idea is almost, again, like a bad airbag that wasn't tested in your car. It can cause more damage than good. So hopefully you understand that, yes, it's super important to have gutter protection for fire safety, but it's really important to do your homework. If you expect a state or a government entity or something to do it for you, unfortunately, they're just not doing it to the fullest measure. Here we are, 2025, and this was in 2009, and to this date, still, it's nothing's ever been put in formula for testing these different products, comparing them one to another to have a standard that shows which one is better suited for it. And I feel hands down our product is Premier Gutter Cover. So thanks for taking a look. All the best.